Hey, hi, it's me again. Surprise, surprise. How y'all doing? I thought, being it's such a nice night, I would bring you out to the local viewpoint of the Laverack estuary. Now, I don't know how windy it is. I hope it's not really windy, but I'm gonna try and find some shelter. Tell you what, wearing Converse was not a great idea. So I found like a path right there, but I don't want to go over it because the tide is coming in and I have no idea if that's going to get shut off. So I'm just going to stay right here. So now is a good time to talk about what has happened in the last week, because let's face it, like, I went away to Poland, I didn't take you guys, and I need to apologise for that. But first, we went to the race really not kind of knowing what to expect, or at least for myself anyway. I was like, you know, this is going to be my first UCI race of the year, what do I expect from myself? And the race itself was fairly flat, turned out to be fairly flat, turned out to be fairly fast, and couldn't really make a game plan until we got out there. So we flew out a week ago, Wednesday, landed in the evening, late, and then Thursday we had probably what has been, for me, one of the best or most relaxing, or maybe the most laid back pre-race rides I've ever had, just because the whole area, like the region we stayed in Poland, which is kind of like an hour and a half south of Warsaw, the whole area was just like kind of wide open fields, very little wind, which was great. But yeah, like there was so many like decent roads we could ride on, and as a group we kind of had no problems with cars, like no problems with people. It was just all around brilliant. And then the race started on Friday with a 180k stage that we literally just ripped through. We ended up having something like a 47k an hour average speed for like 3 hours 50. So we did 180k in no time at all. We were following moves all day. We were like making sure that for every kind of 5 guys that went up the road in the breakaway, there was always one of us there. Actually, I'm glad I didn't walk over there now. Check this out. Look at that. That thing has completely disappeared. There's people over there now. You know, the split stage the following day, which is very popular with, you know, some of these kind of smaller stage races. By the way, the Santa Tour, which is what we were racing, was a UCI 2.1 event, so fairly substantial event. But we had, I think it was like, we had what was supposed to be like a 20-odd kilometer time trial on the Saturday morning. It ended up being 5 kilometers long, which is kind of a good thing actually, because I was the only one on a road bike. I had some clip-on bars though, but I was the only one on a road bike from the team. The rest of them had some time trial kit with them, and I think I did a fairly respectable time, I think, on a road bike. And we did the next stage in the evening. It was so dusty. It was so dusty that next stage. And it was out of nowhere, so you barrel down this road, and then out of nowhere there would be like a whirlwind of dust being kicked up by the bunch, and it had nowhere to go but down there. So I don't know how much dust is in my lungs right now, but it's in there, and it's probably going to stay there. But we had a good day out on the last day. We had another good day out. Brada's got the KOM jersey from a big day out. They actually took it from Jake. So Jake had the KOM jersey from like the first day, but there was like way more points up for grabs on the last stage, and Brada's got in the break, managed to clinch the KOM jersey single-handedly. And then you know, we as a team, like, we came away with the top 10 on GC with James. We had a pretty good run in it with some top 10 stage finishes as well. But the difference in GC, there was only like 90 riders, but the difference between like first and like 70th was like 35 seconds. So not a lot separating it, if I do say so myself. Still a very good weekend. I think we were happy with how we performed. We enjoyed. We had good experience out of it. There were some big crashes which we all kind of avoided, or rather like we kind of got away without too big injuries. Just some grazes and some scrapes. I wasn't involved in any, thankfully, but yeah, we had a good weekend all in all. And it's going to be really busy now for me, like even the next 2 months, or definitely this month in June. I've got a lot of races going on, back-to-back weekends, maybe some things during the week as well. So it's flat out now. It is flat out now. It's picking up. Some of the elite road racing, some of the elite road race series in the UK is really picking up heat. So we've got a lot on our plate now. A lot on our plate. I always feel like stage racing, no matter where you are in the world, always brings about stories, more stories than one-day races, more memories than one-day races. And I think for me, like, this race brought about 3 main stories, or main positives, as I like to also call them. And you know, for me, the race was all about kind of getting myself back into the swing of things, you know, helping out where I could help out, and just trying to be a part of the team, and try to make the team successful. The first one comes from the first stage, where I managed to get in that sizable break at the end, and I managed to pull some turns in kind of conditions that, you know, obviously very, very tough for me, being a smaller guy and with rattling along at 50k an hour. That's no excuses, I'm just saying, you know, it's a big positive for me. You know, the second thing, I think, you know, if we just put the time trial to one side, the next road stage, so the evening stage, or stage 2B as people like to call it, I think that we just exited a few dusty sections, but we were coming into another one, and it was all getting very kind of chaotic at the front of the bunch. There was a sprint or KOM coming up at some point, and we were all kind of near the back-ish, kind of 3/4 of the way down the field. And I just kind of gave the nod at one point to Ben, and well, James just happened to be around him, and I didn't feel comfortable where we were at the time. And it turned out to be a good move, because when we barreled up the side of the group down this really tight narrow lane, we jumped in kind of maybe 15th, 20th wheel, just behind some of the GC teams. And in doing so, we were just coming down this really technical descent down the lane, and we just managed to get through a really technical section that strung up the bunch and caused a lot of people to lose a lot of grip on a corner, and it was all very, very messy. And it just, to me, that was just like not a pivotal moment in the race, but it just allowed us to get through that section without having any difficulties. And then the third thing comes from the last stage, where I went back to get bottles. And although this doesn't sound, when you try to pick positives out of a race and you try to, you know, make the best of a situation, say, you know, if the race doesn't suit you, or if you're trying to help your team, if you're trying to be of good service to people, I think, you know, this was something I picked out of this last stage, when the race was kind of nearing the end. You know, we'd been on the road for maybe 120, 130k, and it was our last chance to feed before we got to the finishing circuit. So I messaged on the radio, who needs bottles? A couple of guys said they needed bottles. I think it was 4 in total, so I went straight back to the car, and we were just about getting onto the finishing circuit, and the road went really bad. Like, it was like Pyro Bay stuff, like really, really bad. And I managed to get to the team car, I managed to get bottles, you know, no hands on this really rough road is like one of these things where you're like, oh, this is dodgy. Obviously I don't want to come off, but in doing so I picked the bottles, minutes back to the bunch, then just went up the side as fast as I could to the front. That's where the guys were giving the bottles, and then came to the front and just gave them what I could for like the next 2 or 3k, just to keep them out of the wind, just to keep one guy out of the wind a little bit longer, so I had one extra guy coming into the finish. And that was kind of like a little part that I played in that last finale of the race. And it's just taking away little things that kind of make you feel better, you know, allow you to feel like you played a part. Doesn't matter how small. I think that's something that I learned like years ago, that like always try and play a little part. You know, if you haven't got the legs on the day, don't try and play a big hero part, because sometimes it doesn't work. Just be smart what you do, look after yourself, and just look after your team.